Boom. Hold on, Joe. Let me just make sure that this is actually coming up. Yep. All right. Perfect. So I did not change the stream title at all. So I apologize for that. Let me check this one more time. So I did not change. Yeah. The stream title at all. Hold on. Let me turn this back down. So the constant drone of the fan in the background, get used to it, please. Sorry. It's just, I got all the windows open in the home. My grandmother refuses to run the AC when it's decently cool out. And right now it's 81. So I've got the fan turned to hurricane mode, so it's currently running through the whole room. Not that it really matters anyways, because the fan and the computer is about to kick on in a little bit into damn hyperdrive, because it's pretty bad. But today, we're taking a look at another custom clone design that I'm kind of working on a little bit. I kind of have another idea for a custom gunship, and I keep doing this to myself like pretty repeatedly. I am kind of thinking about potentially making another larger gunship than the previous one. I think, just off the top of my head, the most recent gunship that we've built is probably the best looking gunship that I've done custom wise. Just because it looks fantastic. So if you've been around on my channel for an extended period of time, you know that this is the Skyhawk, which is my own custom gunship. It's based off of the first gunship that LEGO ever dropped with modifications to make it better. It's sitting in the room right now on the shelf to my right. This is that same design, essentially, but updated with some of the newer techniques that I personally am more used to using for the gunship design. So I did finally put the missile launchers back on it. I did the updated wings with the ordnance pods and everything underneath the wings, all the larger guns and everything like that. So this is the most recent gunship that I've done. There's a lot of the Skyhawk kind of in this with updates to kind of blend it and make it better. I was kind of looking for this to be pretty similar to the Bad Batch shuttle that they use, where it's a ship specifically dedicated to like one squad or group of people, specifically in the Grand Army of the Republic. It's not big enough for that, unfortunately. So I tried to do the whole quarters on the inside and everything like that. So if we find one of these that's opened here. So like the troop bay here is open entirely for troops. These two holes take you down to this lower section here. This lower section down here has two bark speeders in it and two ATRTs as well. This kind of front area here is specifically for the people manning these guns and a radar operator. There's two beds specifically in here for them to kind of like give them the opportunity for that. The cockpit up here has its own bed as well. There's like a sitting area here, as well as some crew quarters back here, and then I built in this as well with crew quarters. This is a storage area as it is on the original gunship. A general issue is it's too small. There's nothing that really connects top to bottom through here, so it kind of just like cannon wise doesn't work out the best there, which is, it's kind of disappointing. Like I kind of like to have that integration and that workout and everything. So not having it, bothers me a little bit. So when I did that, I also designed a custom clone for it. This is kind of what it looks like. I probably could, you're not wrong, but I also could just make a new gunship that's bigger and kind of keep it in mind as I do it. So you're not wrong. I haven't done it. at the time when I made that gunship, I wanted to do another custom clone. So just a little bit of background on this. Custom clones for Lego has been something that I've been into for a while. I've been around the YouTube custom clone scene for quite some time. I could never afford to buy the kind of standard fare of custom clones that have been around for a long time. Clone Marine Customs comes to mind, like off the top of my head. And then obviously Solid Brick Studios came in on the tail end of that with their own custom shop as well. So a lot of those customs go, you know, $30, $35, and that was a few years back. I don't know if they've gotten more expensive or less expensive since then. So instead, I kind of looked around, shopped around on YouTube a little bit, and what I ended up finding was a YouTuber by the name of Noble Artists. I'm sure if you've been in the kind of custom clone arena before, you've probably heard of Noble Artists. Noble Artists' approach to doing custom clones was actually to do more of like 3D sculpting and stuff like that using materials that are glued on. So I actually, a lot of the clones sitting on the Skyhawk right now have Noble Artists kind of custom clones in it. So doing like aluminum cans and then painting them and gluing them on to get the armor and the knee and crotch armor, and then doing like pieces of cloth to do kind of like the leather strapping and everything like that. So I went down that route in real life to do a lot of the custom clones, and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to get back into it, but I don't have time to go out of my way to go purchase in bulk these figures online or anything like that, and then modify them and show them off, as it is a tedious process. And doing it by hand definitely makes it a more difficult thing to do, because it requires aligning everything up, and cutting two pieces of armor to like exactly match is not always the easiest to do. So Studio has this really neat feature where you can do custom parts to kind of help with whatever project that you're working on. And it essentially acts almost like a 3D sculptor. So what I've been doing now is using Lego parts to build custom clone armor and everything inside of Studio. And this is the second one I ever did, specifically for kind of the Skyhawk custom clone gunship. So this was kind of one of the custom figures. I wish I could kind of paint it and detail it up a little bit, but I really can't. So you can kind of just get a base white version and kind of understand what it's supposed to look like. But this is it, essentially. So that's all the background and everything. This is the second one, and now I'm working on a third one, which is a little bit more updated in the process of everything. And I think right now looks a little bit better. Yeah. You could use a normal figure with just a helmet on it, and then paint everything in, use the aluminum and everything. That's essentially what Noble Artists has done, except he uses the prints of the clone figures to kind of like guide where the armor and everything needs to go, because minifig scale is a little bit more difficult to use and replicate, as opposed to like a action figure, if you will, where the scale is a little bit better. Yeah, so the Studio part maker, this thing right here, is essentially just like Blender. My Blender 3D modeling goes back almost a decade ago. I've used Blender specifically for video game design 3 in high school, my third year of video game design. The school kind of pushed really hard to do more 3D dimensional, more kind of up to par graphics gaming at the time. So we moved away from the pretty simple software that we're using from first to second years to using Blender and Unity at the time. So Blender was our animation software and everything, and then we exported it to Unity for everything. So it is pretty similar to Blender, but it doesn't have all the very nice features that Blender has. All of these shapes are shapes that come specifically from the Lego palette itself. The helmet does in fact have cat ears. Stop eating my cabbage. Get out of my cabbage. Why are you guys eating it? Sorry, my cats are My wife bought me cabbage from the Renaissance Fair over the weekend in a plant style, like a stem, and my cats are eating it. Why not use Blender? I'm currently running this on a MacBook Air that's almost 10 years old. Like I bought this 2017. I guess it's, yeah, no, I'm only 3 years off from being 10 years old. I'm okay with saying it's almost 10 years old. So the software and everything on the MacBook Air is not like the greatest. It can barely handle running the Stream and Studio Custom Parts Designer all at the same time. So I haven't really pushed for it that hard. So the helmet does have cat ears. In-universe reason for it, not really sure yet. I'm kind of leaning toward Loth Cat theming potentially for it. I'm just not really sure at this point. So this is just kind of the helmet in general. It's built on a Phase 2 clone helmet. I think I would have preferred to have started with an ARF Trooper helmet and then just erase the visor and make a custom visor for the ARF Trooper helmet, but unfortunately they don't have an ARF Trooper helmet base, and I haven't spent the time I needed to kind of really look around and find an ARF Trooper base to import it in as a custom piece. So for right now, it started as a Phase 2 helmet. I wanted to kind of have that ARF Trooper style of the extension on the back. In Canon Universe, for the ARF Trooper having the kind of big hump on the top of their helmet, there's extra sensors and everything inside of that helmet, extra range for their communications because they're supposed to be recon and scouting purposes. So I wanted to include that in here, but I didn't want to make it the same as the ARF Trooper. So what we ended up doing is taking two pieces, a hat and a visor, and just kind of moving them and stretching them and making them a little bit skinnier in certain aspects to get it to move into place to kind of extend out the back of the helmet a little bit and extend the top of the helmet a little bit as well. That's all right. Star Wars is pretty big and it's hard to get into. I want to get through just like a couple things about the helmet so far, and then I'll open it up as we work a little bit further into it. So we did this is the parts that I started with on it. So I started with the kind of Imperial hat design, but it's turned backwards and then tilted a little bit, and then I did a visor to kind of meet the back end of it around the back, and it's kind of tilted as well. And then it's just kind of blended in. I kind of wish that these lines were like where it blends in was a little cleaner. Right now the parts are just kind of clipping into one another. I wish there was more like a kind of just a small ledge that kind of comes around it, kind of similar to how the hat meets this. But doing that would require like a lot of work and would just suck. So I'm not going to go that far into it. So up here, I'm thinking extra sensors, extra power to the communications equipment, and everything like that. Speaking of communications, I went with the double kind of antenna look. This is specifically kind of inspired by Previsla and his helmet design. So if you remember, I know you particularly, Joe, you might not remember, but Previsla in the Clone Wars, when he first gets introduced in Season 2, Season 3, you get to see his helmet pretty predominantly because he was kind of faceless through part of it. And he actually has two antennas, a shorter one and a larger one, on both sides of his helmet. So I went with the kind of asymmetrical look. Previsla has a more symmetrical look for his, but I just kind of like it. This up here, the visor, is what the thermal vision part. I kind of have it's thrown in here to make it look like it rotates. That's more like a that's a tech look. So if I tech Bad Batch, Tech's helmet is one of like my favorite looking helmets from Clone. Wow, damn, that's rough. We'll just click on this one. If you know, you know. So Tech has the hexagonal earpieces, and then the kind of the visor that gives them like a heads-up display. It translates things for them real time, gives them information, stuff like that. So Tech is definitely another pretty big influence on the actual helmet design itself. I wanted to include it. Oh gosh, everything's messed up now. Try this over here. I wanted to include some of that visor, so actually this piece here is just a regular clone visor, just kind of shrunken down a little bit so it's not as big. And then this piece here is actually a window piece from old school Lego. That has been, the studs have been removed, it's been rotated 180 degrees so it's upside down, and then elongated to fit inside of the visor itself. So I would love to do a Blender version of this at some point, and like a full 3D model and everything, where you could press a button and it would show it go up and down. Like I would love to do something like that. That would be really fun. But for now, it's just kind of here, and we just kind of have to use our imagination that, you know, it would work, essentially. As much of a pain in the butt that is. I did want to go with the kind of hexagonal earpieces on the outside. The hexagonal earpieces get introduced first in the second battle of Geonosis. I haven't been able to really nail this down, but I'm pretty sure the reason they're included is because it's better hearing aids. Like you can hear the wing beats of the Geonosins. It's kind of heavily implied throughout that arc. So actually, I really like that. I really like the kind of the upgraded sensor. They bring back that helmet design for the first time we see Admiral Trench, and put it on the kind of the blacked out troopers and the submarine, if you will, for the cloak ship. I liked it. There is no like hexagonal piece in Lego to be able to kind of like do that, to replicate that. So actually, I just used coffee cups. But I used the top of the coffee cup and then I condensed it down and then merged them into the helmet so you can see them kind of merging into the helmet. And then that gives a little bit of a texture and detail as well. Just kind of there, you know, help out a little bit. No, it's made for clone troopers. Clone troopers, Black Brick Ops don't really have cat ears. I was just kind of sitting here, and I think the top of the helmet needed just like something to kind of break it up just a little bit. I had the communications on this side, and it helped a little bit, but I can't really. Let's just delete this real quick, and you'll be able to see. So if you look at it without the cat ears, it just seems like a little too smooth, a little too plain, and I wanted to break it up, and I was looking in Studio through things, kind of looking about what I could do to kind of help break up the outline. And actually, I found Catwoman's helmet with the cat ears, and I was like, so I'm a cat owner. I have 3 cats. I'm definitely more of a cat person. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna put cat ears. So I put cat ears. It's literally, so this is Catwoman's helmet, except I cut it in half and then I positioned them at the same height and orientation and everything, and then put it together. So I haven't used wires inside of this portion, the part designer, because I don't know if the wires work the same way that they use in Studio. So there are definitely wires that bend in Studio. They don't bend as much as I want them to. So I'm looking at the tools over here. I don't really see a bend. So like if you look over here, I think it's flexible. So you click on flexible and you grab one of these things and you lay it out, and then you can kind of click on it, right? and then right here, you can press this, and you can grab this, and you can move it, and it will flex everything else with it, and then it'll kind of, Studio takes time to kind of like straighten out where you put it and everything. Studio does that, but I don't think the part designer does that. The old school minifig one. Maybe? For right now, I'm going to stick with the cat ears. Just cause, at this point. And then in the future, we might revisit it. I did go with the extended front end for the better, respirator and everything, which is something that I did on the other custom clone as well. Let's see, let's do import. Let's see if we can import the other custom clone. It's going to be a USB disk. Black Brick Ops, it is a custom Lego clone helmet that I've been working on for a little bit. Alright, so I have everything on here, but no idea which one's which. Maybe it's this one. Which part of it specifically? Hold on. I gotta look at it. Because my answer might change based on when I made it. Studio is dying right now. Like I clicked on this multiple times and it won't even open it. Do I have a Discord? I do have a Discord, but I rarely use it at this point in time. I've fallen off pretty heavy when it comes to kind of building guns at this point. I have built a lot of guns, basically. And it's gotten to the point now where it's hard to find. Dark matter is not in here. It's hard to want to keep building guns because I've built most of what I want to build. A demon. Okay, Joe. So this is all studs not on top construction. So this is 2 plates wide, and it sits over top of my different usernames Glock. I want to say I started up here, so it connects into up underneath here where the dust cover is for the Glock somewhere, and I just built it off of there, and then essentially wrapped this all around it to get it to do what I needed it to do. Hold on 1 second here. This is all sideways. This part's upside down. And then this part up here is right side up. This part in the middle is upside down. And then this part is sideways for here. And no, the answer to your question is none of my LED files are out there in the public. I haven't put anything in this folder on this flash drive is not out there. I've kept a lot of these and on my end personally. Like I haven't put any of these out here, especially the ones within the last 3 years. So if we start with when I built this in particular, the SnipeX T-Rex. I built this using Studio, but I did it with the clipping turned off. And basically what that allowed me to do was put parts inside of other parts. And I could, the beauty of that is I could do stuff like this. This looks legal, but it's not. This panel here clips into this panel. This panel here clips into this panel. The kind of this here is completely legal. You could definitely do this in real life, but I didn't line it up perfectly in here, so these parts all clip in to one another. This is all pretty like common and everything, but these locking lugs clip into pieces. Let's see. All of that's pretty legal. All of that's pretty legal. I think it's mainly just right here where it becomes illegal because everything kind of clips into everything. Point of the matter is, when I built this, doing this part where everything kind of clips into one another, basically like led me down doing that forever at that point. So I started doing things where it's like basically fully illegal. So if we do, that handgun is actually a good example. So if we got like this as an example, this is a custom compensator. This is like a real compensator, I should say, that you can buy for your Glock pistols and everything. And it goes on your barrel at the end and everything. So the thing is to like get this little bit of an angle here, and to get this little bit of an angle here, you can see it a little bit in the render right here. I angled this plate, and I just shoved it into this plate. And then this plate here isn't really attached to anything, it's just there. And then same thing, there's another plate up here that's just here. And then in order to get this little bit of a detail here, I took a 1x1 rounded stud and I pushed it into that and I dropped it. And same thing on this side, and then same thing over here. At this point, I've just been placing pieces inside of other pieces to get my desired look. I no longer care about really doing the like legal stuff. I just want things to look how I want them to look instead. So I did that. So like the grooves back here are made using the antenna pieces out of those levers that come in a lot in like city sets, but there's nothing holding these in place. They're just here. So I do, it's like 50-50. Like the base, all of this down here is completely legal. There's nothing clipping in any of this other than the ring part here. Like these are microfoam pieces inside of Lord of the rings to kind of get this kind of look. So that's like the only thing clipping here, but even then you could just drop the microfoam pieces out of it to make this legal. The slide compensator area up here is pretty much the only illegal thing on here. But I've started doing this like a lot more. Like I no longer really care to do much of the legal things. Like so this, when I built this, all of this is legal building techniques. There's nothing really clipping on this into anything else. But I don't ever plan to build any of these in real life. I've talked about this for a little bit on the channel before, but at this point I'm doing the kind of the Lego designing and everything more for like my own, it's just what I want to do. I'd love to do like 3D modeling and 3D design, but as I previously discussed on this stream, this computer can't handle 3D modeling. So since it can't handle 3D modeling, I just kind of use Legos at this point to 3D model. So is the Glock conversion kit legal? It is. That's before I started doing the whole illegal thing. All the techniques on it are completely legal. The strength of it is 100% going to be questionable. And the only reason the strength is going to be questionable isn't like because of the kit being plate built sideways. That part's actually pretty sturdy, especially with the larger flat pieces in it. It's where it connects to the actual frame of the Glock that would be pretty unsturdy. So I did a full conversion kit where essentially it connects to that dust cover in front of the trigger guard on my different usernames original Glock. It doesn't connect anywhere else. If you're going to build the conversion kit in real life, you would need to specifically modify Kyle's Glock to do that. Like, it's not something that you could just like attach and be done with it. It's understandable. Strength is a big thing. What are you mailing at me for? So I'm kind of... I don't think I can release this like I really want to. Like, I would love to be able to grab just the torso. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the armor on this here. I think I might redesign the life support pack up here, but the armor I'm pretty happy with. And then I'm 100% gonna redesign the backpack. So like the lore on this one was a little weird, a little wonky. I was kind of inspired by the XOF forces from Metal Gear Solid to do like the tank kind of system. And then I had a really neat idea for what the tank in universe would be for, but it was something that I could never find the source material on it for. So I didn't know if it was lore accurate or not when I designed this. So I really want to be able to just kind of grab this and put it over here. But I don't think I can, because I think I started with the helmet. Can I do just armor, maybe? Okay, it's literally like the same thing that I just imported. Let's try again. This is in Studio's Part Designer, which is essentially the same exact thing as Studio, except you can modify bricks and everything. I had Studio open a second ago, and then Studio basically took a shit on me because it really doesn't like to run when I'm streaming and everything, so I closed out of it just to kind of help the computer out a little bit. Okay, so I did the front chest piece first, and then I did the back plate. And because I did it all together, I don't think I can put it together. Yeah, I can't like unconnect this as far as I'm aware. Yeah, so it is a slightly different application. I believe when you download Studio, it asks you if you want to download this. I didn't know at the time what it was, but I said yes anyways because I didn't know. But it's definitely been, to me, it's been well worth it. I wonder if so. I did do custom clone stuff here. So here's the armor, but I think this might be my OG clone armor. Kind of looking. Yeah. So it doesn't really look like this has got to be from the first one I did. I've made clone commando armor? No. So I've made... So these are about the 2 custom clones that I've done so far inside of here. So this was the first one that I did. It's based off of a Stormtrooper, because that's the only helmet at the time that Studio had. So this was like the first time that I'd ever really experimented with doing custom parts and everything inside of Studio. So it's relatively simple. You know, flat pieces up here and then curved visors for the arms. It's not like really, it's not the best, you know. And then I stepped up to this here, which is by and large a huge improvement. And like I'm really happy with the arms and everything in this. Can I ungroup this? Oh, sweet. All right, well that changed things. I could just ungroup it. All right, so let's find the full figure there. Leg armor newest has to be it. Insert. Drag this over. Yeah, because this is the full figure. So let's set this as the origin. This is essentially everything for them. Yeah, Lego figures are 100% a bad base to make a custom figure on because they're not to scale, like at all. Like a minifig scale is terrible for like the human body. That's why a lot of people, when they do like minifig scale things, it's kind of out of whack dimension-wise because you have to sacrifice the scale itself because the Lego minifigure is terrible for stuff like this. So let's first things first. I do want to get rid of the pistol design here. I no longer really like it. I do have a comma on this guy, but I think we're going to delete that as well. What's up with these? What are these? I don't know, but we're going to delete those as well. Okay, so I'm good with that. And no problem. Have fun. Good luck on your matches. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. I'll slowly strip everything off of this helmet here. So each of these things that I'm deleting out are individual pieces that were placed on this to make that. So slowly get rid of that, and then get rid of the life support system to reveal the armor underneath, because it was just built up on regular armor. So then we'll grab the helmet. So it's crazy because they will cuddle with one another all night long. no issues. But then they do stuff like that. It's very frustrating. Okay, so it looks like, what is this? Let's go negative 7.77 or 8. 8, 8, 8, 2, 3. So that's about centered. I'm kind of looking here. It doesn't have to be like perfectly centered, just close enough. And then up is going to be here. So let's go 3.5, 6, 8, 6. That's probably about where it would sit, but it does need to go backwards. So it's going to be negative 2.2-ish. So it looks like the head fills that up pretty well. So I think that's about where it would actually sit on a figure, which I'm pretty okay with for that. Okay, so that looks pretty good so far. And then now basically we just kind of delete everything out on this back side of everything. Slowly strip all of this away. And then, so that backpack that I built before was just kind of built up on this one little plate here. And then I'm pretty sure this belt here is a duplicate of this belt, except without this piece in the middle. So I'm gonna file, save this. So this chest piece, if we take a look at, crap, I just messed everything up again. Phase 2 clone armor. If we take a look at Phase 2 clone armor really quick here. The main issue I'm having, I guess it does kind of have those lines. So these lines here are these lines here. And then this kind of under part here, which I guess is more kind of squared off on this section, are these slopes here. And then the kind of the breastplate up here is what's here. So that's everything chest-wise. The belt that they have down here is represented by this here. So that's that, and then the shoulder piece, this piece, I want to say there should be an elbow piece. No. So if you look at it here, you got the shoulder, this upper arm, and then the forearm, and then the gauntlet piece on the hands, which we'll add here in a second. But if you take a look at this, you can see here there's an elbow piece. Yeah. So I think for right now we might just leave it with the gauntlet piece. Here's one that has the elbow piece. Here's another one that definitely has elbow pieces on it. Same with this one. Okay. So I did see this the other day. This was a Hasbro toy, as far as I am aware. But it has this respirator that clips onto the front of its helmet, and then the what you call it, life support system here. And I think most interestingly is this kind of leather bag here that's a holster for a pistol, which I've always thought is pretty neat. And then I'm assuming this is a jetpack, with the spring fire missile or something in it, if I had to guess as to what that is. So the reason I bring this up, I've got this better equipped helmet on this clone, right? So I've got a visor with thermal vision, night vision, the live translating that tech has, with the heads-up display for all of that, and kind of like the micro binoculars and everything built into it. The better hearing, I've got the longer range communications system for it. I've already got the better respiration setup for it. See you later, Black Brick Ops. What else would he need? He's got the kind of the clone antenna here that Cody has, because I really like the look of that antenna on Cody. He's got the forearm mounted vibro knife as seen in Bad Batch. I just really like that. This side's got the communications thingy on it. I mean, chess piece wise, oh, I'm probably going to get a lot of shopping results. So like Rex's Pauldron has the extra ammo belts on it. I mean, we could do something like that, but I kind of want to do the life support system on them again, and then just design another custom life support. Here's a pilot's life support system. I've always really liked just kind of the look of the tubes coming out and up into the helmet itself. Like, it's just a pretty neat look to it. The clone gunners have the heavier piece of armor up here to kind of absorb some of the impact from the guns that they're shooting. Commandos are just still this right here. Commandos just have bulkier armor. Think Wrecker, Bad Batch, since most of their armor is based on clone commandos. Let's just type in attachment and see what comes up. Here's one, a chest rig, which I think is pretty unique. I haven't even like thought of doing a chest rig. So this would be, there would be like a piece of leather strap or something across this, but that's pretty unique. I don't really want to cover up the shoulder armor with like a pauldron or anything. Actually, I kind of really liked Fives, and I think it's Echo, in their Phase 1 armor, where they had their shoulders painted with Heavy's minigun. I just kind of really like that as an idea, so I want to keep those shoulders open to be able to do something similar to that. What's the context? I am building custom Lego clones inside of Studio. I'm looking for ideas of what to strap to the chest. I'm probably going to go down the life support system. We're just going to type in clone life support, press enter. Is this Lego? It is Lego. It's pretty neat. So I'm probably going to go down this route for everything. So here's Oddball. That's a pretty simple looking chest piece. Like I would probably do something a little bit more built up than that. I feel like I'd go down kind of this. I'm already like a full head cannon kind of design. Yeah, this looks like a little. It's a little too small. Like I would want this to like support life for an extended period of time on like a treacherous world, or they got jettisoned into space or something like that. Like I would want this to last a little bit, which might require building a fully new chest piece, because I had one on here before, and then I ended up deleting it. So essentially, we'll press import studio parts by shape. So we're going to find ourselves a tile. We're going to start with a 1x2, insert it, grab it, and place it here. And now we're going to play around with its size. So we're going to drop this down to like a 1.3-ish. That'll work. We're going to go to 0.2. Wrong way. 0.3. So let's go 0.8. So we'll make it like a little thinner and everything. And we'll drop this to a 0.2. Oh, fuck it, we're going to drop it to a 0.1. Alright, now to give us kind of a plate to work off of, other than this size here, which changed when we undid what we did. So I think we put it at like a 1.3. This is what we had it at. Let's drop this to a 0.6 to narrow it down just a little bit. Alright, so this is going to get mounted to the chest piece itself. So up, it's going to be like 3.2 to 3.1 to mount it kind of right about there. It's relatively centered, so I'm okay with that. And then we're going to take and We're going to give it just a slight bit of rotation, not too much. And then we're going to drop it into the chest a little further. So it's going to be this. So let's go -2.2. So we'll do 1.9. I think that's perfect. Yeah. All right. So we'll do that there. And then so I want like a canister here, right? So let's design a bottle. Sorry, I'm rubbing my eye. So let's go by shape. Open this up and then go background. We'll grab this here, put that there. We'll press duplicate. We'll place this here, like so. We'll set this as our origin so that we don't do that again. Grab both of these, press unite into one piece. Yeah, all right, cool. Cool. And then we'll do freescale to break it. Oh man, I really broke it. All right, let's see if this works. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Can I press 1 and it stay? Yes. Okay, so now we've like really flattened it out into an oval, and then to fix that, we'll just do this as a 1, and now it's a 1x1 canister. The size of the plate that we put up there was like 1.2, 1.3, so let's do 1.2. Let's throw it up here on the chest, just so we can see what we're dealing with. Set this as the origin again, so we zoom in. So like obviously, you know, it's a little too big, like having that big the chess piece. So let's do 0.5. That's going to cut it in half one more time. Definitely looks better. Let's throw this back up here. Let's get this into position. So 2.85 is a little too high, so we need to come down 2.7. Let's do 6. Okay, so that's about perfect. You know, about center of the chest a little bit. We'll come out a little bit, so -1.2. 1, which way goes in? Okay, so the higher we go, the further in it goes. Let's do 1.55. So it somewhat cuts into the chest, but not entirely. And then lengthwise, we'll make this a little bit longer. So let's do like 1.4. There we go. So that'll be the bottle of the chess piece. So it's -7.793, -1.5, 1.55, and then 2.6, 2.6. Those are the three numbers that we need to remember. We'll grab this, we'll throw it back down here, and then we'll take and we'll detail this up just a little bit. So we're going to import studio part by shape, we're going to find tile round. I'm going to grab this and insert it. And then move it over here. Let's take a look. So this is a 0.05 by 0.05, so we're going to make this 0.06 by 0.06. Shit, no, that's wrong. We need to point 0.6 by 0.6, which should be slightly bigger than that. And then we're going to drop this down to 0.1. Kind of drag this in here, be centered, and then drag this over like so. And that'll kind of make a little bit of like a ring around the bottle, so it kind of looks appropriate. So let's take and do negative 3.7, 0.8, 0.8. Let's do negative 4. 4 is too much. 3.9. So I do like that, but let's change the size to 0.55. 0.55. And that'll kind of neck it down just a little bit more there. And then let's take and duplicate this, turn, grab and move. Red, grab and move. Okay, so let's do negative 4.5, 6. Okay, that's about centered there. So that'll look pretty good. Do I still have? It kind of replicates this like a little bit, though it is certainly bigger than this part. Okay, so I don't think there's really much in the way of like a lot of detail that we could add on to this part. Just kind of take a look through minifig accessories. Minifig accessories are by and large like the best way to add detail to this type of stuff. Like I kind of like this thing. Or this thing. Just grab this real quick. And we'll take in Will 2. It's the wrong way. So is it this one then? No, this one. Of course, it's the last one I check. We'll flatten it out. And then we'll take and skinny it down to like 1. And then drop this to like 0.2, 0.1 there, 0.1 there. I think it's still a little too long. Okay, so size-wise, this here needs to be like 0.5. 0.5. Drop that down like so. And then we'll do 0.01 or 0.05. So half of 1, right? Flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it, so we get that outwards. And then we'll sync this in a little bit here. So this is going to be like 0.7 is too much. 0.77 is too much. 0.5 is 2.6. So there's just a little bit more extra detail. I do like that it's the kind of asymmetrical type, so we're going to leave that where it is. We're going to grab this. We're going to take and group this as LS bottle, life support bottle, and press OK. And then the position for it is going to be negative 7.793, negative 7.793, which should put it there, negative 1.55, negative 1.55, which sets it there, and then 2.6, 2.6. So that immediately puts it back on the chest where we wanted it. It's got a little bit of detail in the bottle, which I do like. We're going to set this as origin, so we're in there. So it's set in just a little bit like we want it to be. Okay. Alright, so I'm good with that. Pop that off. Pop this off because I don't need it anymore. Stop! Jeez. Just run all over my laptop. It's my two oldest cats playing. Chase them over there. Okay, so if we want to go kind of more towards this design, the larger of the designs, then we basically need to design a nice looking box, right? So we can start that by maybe using this and looking at the bottom of it. Okay, so I like where we've got so far, because this is, it's angled this way, it's angled this way, and it's got the rounded edges on it. So that's a good start for the box. The problem is the anti-studs on the bottom that we can see. So we're going to get a tile, one by one, pretty simple. Take this, grab this, set this in here, just like so. And now we're going to make this slightly longer, 1.1. Nope, I went the wrong way. This one, 1.1, 1.2, and then 1.3. So just slightly longer, that it covers that up. And then we're going to sync this in 0.1. Oh, so we need to go closer to 0. So 0.07, 06, 05, 2, 2, 1. 0. What's a 0 look like? Okay, negative 0.01, 2, 3. Okay, so we need to do just slightly out, but not enough that you can really tell. So it's going to be 0.019. So just ever so slightly out, but not enough that you could really tell. Actually, I take that back, because what we can do is 0.02. Oh, sorry, negative 0.02, right? 6, 7. And then we should be able to unite these. Yeah, but you can still see the circle. Okay, all right. I don't really like that you can still see the circle. So let's jump this back up to 0.03, 2, 1, negative 0.02. So we'll do that. So it's enough, but it's not like overly critical. We're going to unite these. And then mount this to here. All right, so if we take a look at this, so it's negative 155, negative 1.55, negative 7793, negative 7793, and then I think point. Okay, so that's the skinny one. So let's keep this at like 1.4 for now. So this should be the height. This is the height, 1.3. So we'll bunch that in. Kind of move this up a bit. We need to make it skinnier, 0.5. Okay. We'll do 0.4-ish. Up. So this is 3, this is 3.5, so we'll do like 3.25. It's too high, 3.2 is a little too high. Let's do 3.1. And then we need to come backwards, so we'll do negative 2, 1.5, 6, 7. 7 looks about right, and then we need to rotate this, kind of match the angle of the chest a little bit to get this, and then we'll do 1.2. I want to take in, let's drop this 0.2, like so. That'll help flatten it out just a little bit, which means we now need to move it backwards some. So we'll go negative 1.7, 6.8 maybe? No, let's do negative 1.7 to push it back into the chest so it doesn't look like it's just floating in midair. And then this piece here will rotate one more, just like so. Help that out. Negative 1.6 goes in, so 4 would be out. 5, 4, 8. Let's make this a little skinnier. 0.3, 4. So let's do 0.4. We'll drag it up some. It's going to be 3.3, 0.2. 3.2 is good there.
Gonna help that out, and then we're gonna drag this backwards, so it's gonna be like -1.5, 655, which I think is where it was before. And then we need to come up like literally just a hair. So 2.62. So that will be that part of it. So you've got your bottle and then the chest piece as well. Okay, so then let's do like the buttons and everything, like a kind of this kind of design on it. So this piece here, it would probably be easier to do this off to the side on its own. So if we were going to do that, we could copy these coordinates back down again. So -7.793, -1.7, 3.107, 3.107. Grab this piece, drag it off here, and then set this as the origin and group in, zoom in on it. All right, so we want to make buttons and things and kind of mirror these two designs, if we will, of everything. So import studio part, tile modified. Let's see. Could do one of these. Insert. Bring this over. This is about to get like super small, so we want this to be like 0.2, and we want this to be like 0.1, and we want this to be like 0.05, like super small. And we've instantly made a singular button that's beveled. So I want to put it down toward here. So this is going to be like 1.2-ish. And then we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to move this one out. Flip, 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 flip. Okay, so then this is going to be like a -1.3, 0.35, 32, with a little bit of separation between them. Is this as far in as I can zoom? Oh crap, it is. Oh, that sucks. Alright, grab this, and then crap. How did you do this? Boom, boom. I believe that's it. That's the angle. Yeah, that's the angle. Okay, grab this, and then -0.6. Way too far. 5. What the heck? There we go. -3.5. 6. 7. so I like that a little bit, but we need to go a little further. And command -3.7. 0.5. 0.6. Oh my gosh. You and you. -3.58. There we go. Sheesh. Can't believe it's so difficult. Alright. So then we need to do import studio part. Should be in the modified section already. Let's get a bar. Let's just do like this one. I'll make this 0.1 by 0.1 by like 1. It's a little too long, so we're going to do 0.5 instead. Center that, and then go down with it. 0. 0.5. 1. 0.5. It's going to be slightly cut off by the tube, but I think that'll look good there. Studio part by shape, tile round. Let's do this here. So let's do this by 0.5, and this by 1, and this by 0.1 to turn it into a flatter plate. And do 0.25 and 0.5. Half of 24 is 12, so let's just do 0.12. And then half of 5 is like 0.25. So let's do that. And then we'll just make it a little longer, which I think was this one. 0.3. 1. 1's too long. 0.8 is too long. 0.6. 0.5 is probably in the sweet spot. So we do -1.7, 6, 5. We'll get that moved over. 0.05. Flatten that out even more. I'm going to duplicate this and then move it up. So this is going to be 0.3. 5. 3, 3, 3, 4. So I want a little bit of gap, but not a whole lot of gap in the middle. Take and one, 2, 3. So that's the angle we have on it. Grab, down. So 0.2, 0.18, 0.9, 0.5, 5. Move that slightly up there. So grab here, grab there, inwards, negative 3.6, 0.7, 3.7, out of that, 0.65, 63, 64, 62, 61, be perfect. And then we'll do slope. Where's the... I need something that goes flat in the middle. Something like this, but as a slope. Is there really not one of those, technically? That would work if it had it on the other side. So let's grab I'm going to set this as the origin. I'm going to grab the eraser and first and foremost get the hole stud. Just like that. Grab this. We're going to go from 2 to 1 immediately, and from 10 to like 0.3 immediately. Grab this and go down to like 0.1. Grab this and go down to like 0.2. And drag this on over here. Work on this. So we need to go 0.025 to really flatten it out. Place that there. Even skinnier, so 0.25. Oh, wrong way. 0.050. Perfect. 0.3, 0.4, 0.4 will work there. And then grab this. 1, 2, 3 to match the angle. And then we just simply move it in. Negative 3.57. 8.75. It's perfect. Duplicates. Move down. 0. And where did 1 go? 1 went up. So like 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 5, It's a little too high, 1.6. Be fine. And then we need to come outwards. It's going to be like negative 3.3. Negative 3.2. 2? 1? What the heck? 3's here. It's 4 at. Oh, so it's like 3.5. So the closer we get to 4, it goes in 3.6. 0.5, 5, 4. There we go. Alright, so that'll be that, right? We have a little bit of some detailing going on, but not like overly a lot. So now we need a place for the tubes to hook up to. I kind of want it to be like this piece. I think this piece will actually work really, really well. So this just kind of gives you a little bit of scale for how small we're actually working here. So we'll jump this to 0.2 instead, which means jumping this to 0.2, which means dropping this to 0.2. Take and line that up like right there. Want it to stick out just a little bit more. So we want this to be like negative 0.7. Apparently not. Negative 0.8. 5. There we go. Take this, press duplicate, flip, flip, scoot on over, and we'll do 2.15. Which should be about where it needs to be. We take all of this and we unite all. It's all one big piece. And then we grab it and we'll go negative 7.793. Negative 1.7. 3.107. 3.107. Which is slightly off, and I think the reason it's slightly off is because I've added a couple things to it, which made the bounding box bigger. So negative 1.75. Put it come out just a little bit. Negative 1.74. 7.3. I'm okay with that gap a little bit. I don't think you'll ever be able to tell. So I think we're great there. We can save this. That's a really good detail I'm happy with. And real quick, let's get rid of that. Let's ungroup this so I can duplicate this. Grab it. Get it somewhat close to where I need it. Yeah, man, I've been doing pretty alright. Been working a lot of hours lately. Hope everything's going pretty good with you too, Trey. Swing this on over, like so. Down is going to be this one, so 0.4. Okay. And then we'll go backwards. It's going to be negative 2.2. 3, negative 2.4. 2.4 works. I will. You as well, my friend. To negative 6.7. Just kind of center that just a hair more. And then just ever so slightly do like 3.5. Way too much. 3.45. 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. And then it just needs to come negative 6.67, 6, 8. Just kind of nudge that over a little bit there. Get that to line up just a little bit. I think that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. It looks a little bit better. It's a little thinner than the last one was. And it's got the little thing on the end of it. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then the biggest part now is basically everything else doesn't look as good because this is pretty hyper detailed. I say hyper detailed, it's very detailed, not hyper detailed. This up here is detailed pretty well, but like everything else isn't. So real quick, jump out of that. That specifically looks like Hunter's mount for the vibro knife. Yeah, and it's mounted literally just directly to his gauntlet. I think Wrecker wears his on his chest, doesn't he? So this was a pretty neat looking custom clone. We've got the night vision custom pauldron. It looks like his knife is mounted to his chest. Wow, crazy. Alright, where is yours mounted? Do you have one? Yeah, I don't know if you have one or not. Hunter's is in this gauntlet over here. This is very weird. This is clearly the wrong body to be displaying this on. It's funny.
I know it's probably just for the store, just to show it on a 1/6 scale clone, just same as this one. Which I think it's funny. So here's where his knife is mounted. So I think the scale figure, I think it's too big on the scale figure, and I think they did that for the play feature of it, potentially, because this sheath looks gigantic, and I don't think it's that gigantic in the show. Here's another look at this custom clone with their vibroblade mounted up here. Alright, well, so I don't have like a lot of answers. Let's just look up Hunter's knife, Bad Batch. See if we get a better result with that. Definitely a lot of people doing cosplays of it and everything. It is definitely on his gauntlet though. Okay. Whip. I'll need to design a new full sheath and a full new knife for this. It's pretty smart. Oh, I think Hunter does move it to his small of his back at some point because of I think he's in civilian clothes in that episode, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right, so I will end up doing that at some point, but for right now, it's already gotten to 9:15. I do have work tomorrow. I'm getting older, so I am happy with the progression of this so far. Can I just really quick, could I export this to Studio, right? Let's say Clone Custom 3 parts separate. Let's type that in and let's press export. Let's press save real quick. And we'll go ahead and we'll exit Part Designer. And go to Studio. I'm kind of curious if if all the parts are exported independently, if I could ungroup them and then color them individually. That's fine. I thought I saved this anyways. Don't save, because I'm pretty sure I saved it. And then we'll go custom parts. So when I did this originally, I just had the armor all separate pieces for the colors. Let's place this here, click on it. Yeah, it doesn't really look like I'm able to do that. Can I just make it all white? I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I think I clicked on body armor. Yeah, I think I broke it again. We're gonna go ahead and force quit Studio one more time. I'll give it one more shot to see what I can do, and if Studio doesn't want to cooperate with me, we're gonna call it a night and just be done with it. So I can make it all white, and then the transparency of this visor stayed. So I could render this and then do custom paint, decals and everything, a try. To do all the logos and everything on it, but that's definitely going to be a different time. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to get off. Like I said, I'm getting old, guys. Sorry. That'll be that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all the comments and everything. See you guys later in another video or live stream some other time.